coming to America. Prince Akeem was always the prince. No matter if he worked at McDowell's, went to a church, cut off his lock, let him have his princely robes, get back in my house. I'm supposed to be a poor man. I'm a goat herder. All of this are concepts of your humanity. Your princely robes, if you will, have been discarded here so you can walk a path. That path is represented as the dark side, the hidden. One of the first lines in the Bible that we used to love, so-called used to love, out of darkness comes light. What they're talking about is a process. They're talking about the process of the hidden made light. That path, you see, because I don't want to get confused, because you still hear people, Facebook, oh, I'm the dark side, I'm the darkest dude you ever know. They're just as stuck as someone in church. Because being on one side of the game or the other side of the game is failure. It's a process. You're going in the hidden and coming out. So, the visualization or the symbolization of the hidden are usually these pictures, images, or sigils that are usually scary. Because it's talking, what it's trying to do is say, if your spirit isn't ready, you're going to feel scared, you're going to feel fear. So I'm not mad at the person or persons who said, oh, why would you put that on the fire? It just really explained to me, it's plain as day. You're not ready to hear any of this. So I'm not here to force you. Because this path, this entire path is your own. You have to walk. No one can do it for you. And that's going to bring us into where this relationship comes in, because we think that I'm supposed to find a magical girl, and all of a sudden she does this for me, and I become it. So it's something that we have to become. We're going to start from scratch. So any questions on what I just said? Do you understand where we're at? All right. So I deal with occult science, and I'm dedicated to finding all the hidden. To make it plain for you, what we're talking about, if I'm trying to find the hidden, is subliminal attacks. That's how you can reason with this in your humanity. Well, what's the hidden? What's the darkness? What's so special? Subliminal attacks. So everything that doesn't meet the apparent is something of interest, because that's the dark side. That means it's hidden, and that's all that is. Nothing to do with Satan. Nothing to do with evil. That means it's hidden. So when they subliminally attack the black man's image or the black woman's image, where primarily in media, I'm going to be there to say this is what they're really doing, this is what they're saying, this is how they're doing it. First section of my book is about every black man in Hollywood. I show you the subliminal attack. I mean the movie, the date, the time, or the many movies, where I'll show you subliminally, where you didn't see it, in the hidden was a whole hidden culture, a cult story, or a cult attack in our case. So once you do this, then the revelations in you, or once you think this way, the revelations in you start to reveal what plans you're on, what reality you're in, and things you need to do on a personal level. If you're still trying to figure this out on the surface, that's what your conscious mind, your everyday thinking mind. If you're trying to figure this out with reasoning, logic, you're going to lose. You're going to be led around by Black Lives Matter. You're now colored, Negro, African American, all the stuff we're complaining about. We will still fall into that if we don't change the concept of how we interpret and spit out information or regurgitate it back to your reality. That's the biggest part. So much so I had to start a class, because after all this information, I still had a bunch of people who could not take it from A to B. And when I asked them the question, they could explain everything from a standpoint of what they heard in a lecture. But when I say make it yours, they can't do it. See, I'll ask them about ISIS, and they'll tell me everything from a book. No one just says, oh, my mother. Because if I ask you about your mother, you can tell me a whole bunch of things about that, because you know her, you know it. So that is another way of telling me you don't know. It's telling me your conscious mind has got some information and is able to regurgitate it. It's not telling me you have to become it. Becoming it happens from subconscious program, period. How do you know that? Because I just told you, in every movie, they're not worried about the conscious story, the story you see on the surface. The attack or the control comes from the subliminal program. I can show you in everything that this is as movie jingles, commercial jingles, you name it, any colors from your chakras, everything is trying to talk to the hidden part of you. So while we still debate if the dark side is what we should be dealing with, your entire reality is dealt with from outside. Your entire reality is dealt with. They don't care to sell you the Snickers bar. They care to show you some of the jingle, colors, they show you the whole imagery of people having fun eating the delicious Snickers, so you can connect an emotion psychologically to a product. That's what they do. See, we're not doing that to even reverse what they're doing. And that's our problem. We're still trying to rationalize with someone who's taking your science and weaponizing it against you for real. I can show you this all day. I study on this with beats. I'm talking on this for those who don't know. This is all I talk about. Because in my class, is I teach you how to start the A, the B, the C process of starting to figure this out on your own. How to build it. Has anyone here taken my class? Raise your hand. Man, oh, that's right. You sure did. All right, so they know the first thing we talk about in class is how your mind works and the different levels of your mind. Unconscious, which we deal with. That's why you blink and don't know it. Breathe and don't know it. Then we deal with subconscious and conscious. I tell you how we're falling into what you call intelligence. Intelligence to a Camite is like baby steps. So the hidden, which was represented as Osiris, Lord of the underworld. Well, what's the underworld? Subconscious mind. Horus represents your conscious mind. The conscious person who's constantly in a fight to get this information. Why you can't get it today. Set represents your human mind. The fight between Horus and Set is inside of you. It's your humanity versus your conscious mind. So when you get something new and say, oh, this is conscious, I found this, I'm gonna do this, there's something in your mind saying, I don't know, all I'm doing is lighting the candle. How's that gonna work? You will, even if you still do it and you still keep convincing yourself it is gonna work, you gotta admit, there's something telling you, maybe not, maybe it's gonna fly. You get what I'm saying? That's the real fight you're trying to fight. What Horus or your consciousness is trying to redeem your true mind. His father, that's the mythology. His father is your subconscious mind. Everything, the underworld, thrown in the Hades, Titanic, locked in the cave, it's all talking about one thing. Because all the mythology and all the science is really trying to tell you about your own mind and your true flight. When you were born into matter, when you incarnated here, you gained something called an ego. It didn't exist before you got here. You didn't need one. That ego is also your intellect, your reasoning, how you ration. It is much needed down here. You driving here, you're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? You just can't be, I'm spiritual. I'm on the freeway. I'm gonna live on the mountain. You know what I mean? So it's much needed here. Like, you're not gonna see someone smack your mother and go, well, that's the laws of attraction. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to kill somebody. So it is needed for you to survive, but it is not needed in your science or your spirituality. You have to know when to feed it, the differences between the two. And that's where we get lost. If we were to know and understand the differences between the two, we would know when we're truly feeding our true self and when we feed the things, you know, buying that shirt, the matching thing, and, you know, from everything, buy the correct standards you like. we're using our science to keep the world apart. There's a book called The Spirits Book by Alan Kardec. Now don't ask me the pages because it's a whole entire book of chapters. And somewhere in this book, you should just have it anyway, he talks about ego poisoning. How any of the science that you can, no matter how profound it is, if you absorb it from your brain, you're going to blow up your ego. If you absorb it in the heart, you're going to transform your spirituality. So I talk about it, and I'm going to get into it today, about the mindset for becoming pure of heart to even deal with this work. To lose the agenda. The agenda is, I want to teach my people. I want black people to do this. How come black people? How come black people? Because the ancients didn't look at us as a collective. They knew, like we keep saying, we all came to do what we all came to do. So he's supposed to have one skin. He's supposed to be sagging. You get what I'm saying? And I know it's hard, but those black boys are supposed to be a shot too. We don't get to be metaphysical and say everyone has their own path. Death is not a final. And all of these wonderful things. I'm ready to go. This matter has forsaken me here. And all this stuff. And then when we see someone, we should be celebrating. Oh my goodness, he's free. He's free. I know that's hard because it would happen to someone else. No! Why? Do all of that too, you know what I'm saying? So I think it has its place. But as conscious, we should have more understanding. Doesn't mean you should be without compassion. Have compassion for any black person, any grandmother, anything. Compassion. But then you have to say that's a human compassion. And there's still room for that. The spiritual work, you should have to understand. Like, I would love to tell people, you know, that's the famous time. I'm a life coach. Like, no, I'm a death coach. I'm a coach. The Hamites, Egyptians, studied nothing but death. Why? Because if you understand death, everybody's in here doing this, that, or the other thing. Makes the person scared of that. You have no fear of death. They can't Malcolm X in the movie, or Elijah Muhammad, one of them, said, the man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous man on earth. No thing you feel you have to lose. Did you get it? Thank you. So, any questions on anything I'm saying so far? Anything stick out? It's odd.
You getting me, brother? I know. Good. Have you already taken ticket?
Yeah,
You didn't get the ticket? Okay.
These are the Palo shirts.
Can y'all hear him back there? Y'all hear back there?
Okay, all right. These are the Palo shirts. What makes the Palo shirts? The Palo deities. I'm going to explain this, but this goes in with the history. In Nigeria, the Yoruba people had their system. Now, this was built for that culture. It was never meant for worldwide consumption. We have to understand about what deities are as well. Deities are nothing but descriptions of the black woman and the black man. Every deity. There's not one deity that lives in heaven when you pray to it. If you pray to it, it will treat you like your mind determined one.
You have two of them?
None of
I
them.
don't have this.
All they are descriptions of energies that you can access with your mind. Every single one of them. Since they are energies that you can access with your mind created them as well. And if you corrupt it with your thought, then the entity or the energy is going to do the same thing. So, when you have the Orishas, the Ifa, they were created by a culture. The culture eats the same, sleeps the same, marries the same, have sex the same, have babies the same, die the same, rights of taxes. same, and all of these things. So the psyche of the people is uniform. Same kind of way, in a way, the Bloods have the same mentality, the Moors have the same mentality, or something old to where you see a Moor, but that's a Moor, and that's a Blood, and that's a that mentality is what culture is supposed to say, divide and die. So when they created a spiritual system, it was based upon the psyche of the people. So why would the Crips use a spiritual system of the Bloods? Don't make sense. So this spiritual system that was created for the psyche of the culture, like in all African cultures, was not meant for mass consumption because they were stern in how you dealt with it. Why were they stern? Because those shamans of that time understood something called thought forms. And knowing their energy, and not people, what they would know about that is if someone has a corrupt thought.
So were you guys able to pay ahead of time, or you paid ahead of time?
So they were strict, and that's when they had to be strict. Only on Friday, only with color yellow, only with honey. Never do this, never do that. So this culture now started giving way to, you could say, the next step would be superstition. She ain't gonna be mad if you do that. This one's gonna be mad if you got superstition. Or let's even take it one step further. Tradition. You start with tradition. Tradition is like every Friday you gotta do this. Every such and such you gotta do this dance. Every if you miss this dance, the crop's gonna come. So that's, we know we now be sticking to tradition. Then superstition. Oh, we didn't do that. Oh, you're gonna be in trouble. And then tradition eventually gave way to religion. So here you have it now. So now we go, oh, I'm tired of slapping this tambourine in church. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back to Africa. So you go back to Africa and you see the cultures and you say, I'm going to do what they were doing. Not realizing that they were later dead. Because before the culture system had to come in, possession. Possession is only, we don't know how to have a direct communication anymore. But this guy is willing to flop around. So we're going to see what the deity said to him. Because we are now letting the energy control him. We are no longer in control of the energy. It's later dead. Do the whole comparison in my class. I say, you have a microwave in your house? How many times has your microwave told you to stick a bun in your butt to heat it up? We control our appliances. These gods and goddesses are our appliances. Now we're serving them. Now we're serving them. So when you had, from the West, these slaves migrating towards the islands, what they did was put Catholicism on them. And what the slaves did was say, you see the attributes of the Orishas, which was one of the last places they picked up all the slaves from. You see the attributes of the Orishas, so we're going to still worship the Orisha through the saint. So Saint Barbara, her attributes are like Shanga. So while white folks are saying, get without religion, we say, yeah, go to Shanga. This developed a new religion called Saint Maria. Saint Maria came back to America eventually, and black people were like, oh wow, where's this from? They said, well, it's originally from Africa. So you know black people, let's go to Africa and see. When they got there, know what the Nigerians told them? We ain't showing your ass nothing. Get out of here. You ain't us no more. There was a guy named Megahochi. Never met him, Bobby told him about it. Megahochi said, oh, I'll show you what it is. And then in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, all these Orisha houses started popping up all across America. Now, as I told you, this system was created for people of a certain mentality. See, initiation, because this was a big thing before shut down. Gotta get initiated. See, I know guys who were, this is early on the internet, social media, because it was conscious people all over a certain city. Bobby Hemmett was the one that kind of unified with verbalization. Hey, well, I was just in Denver and they're doing this, I'm just in this one, they're doing that. I'm just here. That's all it was. Then, of course, it moved on to MySpace and all. So everybody who was following what they knew, Bobby Hemmett, yeah, get with this magic, do this magic, dark side, all these guys trying to be somebody. Quickly turned on MySpace. And all you had to have was some spooky pictures. Because I had spooky pictures, and people thought they never heard a word from me. When you initiate, that's why I had him, when you initiate. And then these guys who I was paired with, instead of just do it, black people, we must do it, became, be careful. You need to get initiated. Because you don't get initiated, stuff is then I knew what was going on. People are offering me $2,000. People don't know who I am. Just I had a picture. And in fact, that reason. Didn't know. So I started, so we were telling the truth. You don't need to get initiated. Initiation is created to shock the psyche of someone who is determined you're able to gauge their psyche. So if my initiation is to say, you're going to be a man once such and such happens. You don't know what happened below there, right? You know, they put a hood over your head, you go, oh my goodness, it's time. They're already starting to pay. And then I go, here's a gun for you. You go, oh my God, a gun. Because you grew up like the old person. And then after they say, you're done, you're good, you're a man now. Your psyche has now been impacted, because your psyche gets impacted through 3 things. Repetition, symbols, and trauma. So the rites of passage in Africa was trying to impact your psyche through trauma. That's what all the cutting was for, or the tattooing, or the cutting off the penis tips and all that stuff. Remember Kunta Kinte? That was probably cut off first. Okay, so all of that, because once you, we know it every day. A young boy sees his mother get beat, he beats another woman. Is now his reality. It's now his reality. Because when you ask white people a woman, because earth is real. And then the woman was seeing it on the other side. Because I got a message. They don't see nothing wrong with it. It's normal. Because your psyche has been traumatized, therefore reprogrammed. That's what they show me all these police for. To keep programmed at who's your boss. That ain't exposed to them. The only one that was exposed was Rodney King. Other than that, all of that has been for you. Yeah. So this trauma now has, he sees his gun. This is his initiation. He gets now in the cycle, wow, I went through that, that was big. Now I feel I can live in my own house, hunt for my own food, maybe even get my own life now. Because I know everybody else who's the man went through it. So that's enough for me to say, I went through it too. Why?